wanted to make a quick video to show everyone who's new to human design how to pull your chart on genetic matrix and look at some of the basic information. So I like using geneticmatrix.com just because I like the format of the chart and some of the information it provides. There's other sites too, but this is the preferred one that I use. So I'll use this one to show you. So this account that I have right now, you do have to create an account, but it's free. So I have a paid account, but this is a free account so that I can show you what it's possible to see using your free account, which is pretty much everything you need to begin. So here we are inside of Genetic Matrix. This is the basic page it'll send you to. You can start to see some of the info that you need under this My Hub. This is where you can start to create your charts. And if you just want to create your own chart to begin with, that's great. What's cool about this software is that it will save charts for you. So if you want to enter like family or friends and then reference them later, that's an option in this. I have like everyone in my life that I've ever looked up saved in mine. So it's really helpful for what I do. But even if you just want to look at yours, it's great too. So I've already got my chart loaded in here. It has all my birth information down to the minute. With human design, it's very important to have this down to the minute. If you don't have it down to the minute, you can probably still see a lot of aspects of your chart, but there are some you won't want to look at because they can vary minute to minute. So over here, they provide the basic info, your type. For me, it's a pure generator. It might say manifesting generator. It might say emotional generator. It might say emotional manifesting generator. And then it'll tell you your profile. For me, it's a 1-3. Your definition is whether you have all of your defined centers connected to each other. So some people are single definition, for instance, they have basically like one circuit, kind of like I do down here, or you have a split or multiple splits. You can be a triple split, you can be a quadruple split. As you can see, I'm a single split. So that means that I have this grouping down here and this grouping up here. And then it says large because I have a large gap between my two groups of defined center circuits. Don't worry about that too much right now. It's kind of a more advanced aspect of human design to delve into later, but I just want to cover everything that you see in here so that you know what it is. Then it'll tell you about your incarnation cross or what your incarnation cross is. Then down here, it has your channels. So all your defined channels. And when we talk about the channels, that's these guys right here. It's these full connectors from center to center. And that's what causes our centers to be defined. So you can see there's definition from here to here. And then I have another channel here, and then another channel here, and then another channel here. So those are my 4. People can have 0 if they're a reflector, or generators and MGs can have like 6 or 7. I don't know what's the max I've ever seen. But usually some people are in the range of like 1 to 7. So when we look at the body graph, I won't go deep into what each of these pieces are, because that is done in some other blog posts and other offerings and things like that. But I will go through and label everything so you at least know how to read the body graph. So in the center here, we have the actual map of the centers in the body. And you can see that each of these centers has these channels coming out of them. And these are made up of 2 gates. 2 gates forms a channel. So right here with this 32, you can see that I have this gate that's activated, so half the channel, whereas right here with this 1858, you can see that I have the entire channel. And then I have others where I don't have any kind of definition. Where these numbers get activated is over here on the side. So this is a list of planets and different celestial bodies. I won't go through each and every one, but it starts with the sun and the earth. It's a little bit different from astrology. If you're familiar with astrology, we don't really use earth in astrology. But over here, you have the mind side, which we call the conscious side. So you can see that all of these numbers that I have over here are colored in black at those gates. So this 25, 46, 44, etc. So all of these numbers here. Then over here on the body side, you can see that all of my body gate activations are colored in red. And that's what ultimately determines everything about our body graph, what type we are, because those get mapped. And then if they connect, they create a channel and they activate a center. And that's basically what determines how our energy moves through our body. The reason that this is separated into body and mind is that the mind are the planetary placements from the very moment you were born, like we usually are looking at in astrology. The body placements are the planetary placements from about 88 days before you're born, which this is when human design believes that an important part of your body development clicks in. And in human design, we're always looking at what is going on with the way our bodies are moving through the world, and then also what we're perceiving consciously. So it's looking at us as two different parts of a human and the way that those work together. So as you can see, there are even some channels here where I have that activation both in my mind and body. And so depending on whether these are a mind activation, a conscious one that you're going to really see in yourself, or an unconscious one where others will see it in you, or both, it'll determine a little bit about how that gate or channel operates in your life. And I won't go too deep into that because I have some more information about that elsewhere, but that's why you're seeing those different colors. Your profile, like it says over here, for me is the 1-3. You find that by looking at the conscious sun, which is the top one, and the unconscious sun. And the profile lines are found as the number after the decimal point over here. These correspond to the 6 lines of the I Ching, which that's a topic for another day, but you can always find your profile or someone else's by looking over here at the mind one first, which is a 1, and at the body one next, which is a 3. So everyone's will have that. So yours might be 6-3 or 2-5 or 1-4 or 4-1 or whatever, but it'll always be a combination of these two numbers with the mind number first. These arrows that you see right here are called variable. These represent different aspects of our conscious mind, and then our brain and our body, our environment, all these different things. These are also too complicated for today, but just so you know, that's what those are. And then on Genetic Matrix, you can also separate your body graph into the body and the mind. So this will probably say that you're two different types than what you actually are, or maybe one of them will show a different type. For instance, my type under the body view is a pure generator, which is what I usually am, but my type under the mind view is a splenic projector. So what this is doing is showing only my mind activations and what my body graph would look like with only those mind activations. And then here it's showing only my body activations and what that would look like. So my way of looking at this is that we can never really separate our body and our mind as humans. So even if this says we are two different types, it doesn't mean we're ever really going to be a different type. There are some intricacies to this, but basically you would always still follow the strategy and authority for your type. Under this body view, it also says a bit more about our actual strategy, which for me as a pure generator is to respond. And, my theme of satisfaction and frustration. And then it also gives us a lot more info down here. So the important ones for someone who's starting out with human design would be maybe your environment. So your environment is the place where you sort of decondition the best, where you operate the most optimally. So mine is wet kitchens. I also have a blog post on this. And then maybe even your cognition. For me, this is touch. It's kind of like your super sense. I haven't covered this in any of my material yet, but I might in the future. But it's something to know because there are other places you can find information about it. So that's the basic walkthrough of the body graph so that at the very least you kind of have an understanding of everything that you're looking at. And this is a really good starting place to then begin to learn a bit more about your type and all of the different things and everything else I have outlined on the roadmap. So you can always refer back to that if you're lost and you want to know where your next step should be in learning about human design. You can also check out the Peer Generators blog at peergenerators.com to see all the other entries I have. Thank you.